Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and yesterday we got our first sneak peek preview at the next upcoming update for WoW, patch 11.07, which brings with it a bunch of new features from a brand new zone called the Siren Isle, a zone filled with a variety of factions of enemies, a bunch of different rares and monsters that come out only during the storms, as well as powerful elite and even potentially world bosses hidden in the caverns underground. This update also comes with a bunch of new catch-up elements like catch-up gear and a new catch-up ring with some brand new powerful effects, as well as a bunch of new collectibles for you to uncover and purchase and work towards, from transmog, toys, mounts, and a variety of other different collectibles that you can earn or discover on the island, as well as even more questlines, character customization, and even a little return of Plunderstorm. And today I wanted to go over all of the new features that we know that will be arriving with the patch 11.07, which will hopefully be ready for testing sometime soon over on the PTR. As always, if you want to keep up with the regular updates to the War Within expansion, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So let's start off with the biggest feature of this 11.07 preview, or rather the sneak preview, is a brand new zone called the Siren Isles, which actually has been hinted on by a handful of characters that you can find right now in Dornogal. Whether we're talking about Skagit, who is with Gazlo's goblins, who has their own vested interest in this brand new island. Though another faction that's also interested in this island specifically are the Arathi, who are starting to make their way out of Hollowfall. Based on some of the rumors that you can hear in town, are working on potentially constructing those airships in Hollowfall above Kazalgar to travel to this brand new area. And these two factions will be the primary factions, plus the Earthen. They'll be joining you in the expeditions towards this brand new zone of the Siren Isle. From what we know about the new zone is it's kind of meant to be like a mining expedition originally established by the Kultirans, who were mining Azeroth, I imagine, during the timeline of Battle for Azeroth, but then something happened and everybody disappeared all at once. So it's our job to get into this island and discover what happened. Part of the island will be the rotating enemies that will be appearing, from pirates to Naga, as well as other factions that will be visiting this island, which means that the activities on the island will change week by week. So it's meant to be some form of an evolving type of open world content that's meant to give you different types of activities every time you visit the island. Part of this evolving open world content activity will be the Storms of the Isle, which will call forth powerful creatures from the sea to invade the Isle. And you'll be able to utilize faction tools such as vehicles, bombs, and other types of equipment in order to help deal with some of those powerful elites. From what we know, this island will also be a host to 3 sealed caves that need to be chipped away using some of the resources gathered on the Isle and then given to the factions to break through these entrances. And inside of these caves will be some fairly big rare bosses for players to take on. So potentially 3 new world bosses or world boss type of enemies that will be on a rotation that you'll be able to tackle on as a massive group as part of this open world content. Part of the big features of this isle is the ability for us to get some catch-up gear for the rest of the Season 1 of War Within in preparation to Season 2, patch 11.1. And one of those items will be a new ring called Circe's Circlet, which you will be able to see on your character. For a while, players that wanted to have our accessories like neck pieces, trinkets, maybe hanging off belts, or even rings to actually show up on our characters, and I think this is the first time they're adding a ring in game that will actually show up physically on your character, and I wonder if that is something that will continue as a trend in the future at some point. But from what we know about the ring, it's meant to be a big catch-up ring that's meant to host powerful gems within its sockets in order to help players gain additional power. So if you played in Dragonflight, basically think of the Onyx Amulet. For me, it's good that we get new catch-up items, and I think the ring is going to help any players that are returning back to the game in preparation for the next major content update like patch 11.1. This ring is going to be a massive bonus when it comes to being able to catch up if it's as powerful as Dragonflight's Onyx Amulet. I do wonder what kind of gems we're going to be able to get and how passive and active are these abilities are going to be. I am hoping they'll be leaning towards the more active side, like when you press a major combat ability, the ring activates and grants you stats, or when you press an AoE ability, the ring explodes with fiery damage, or anything of that sort. But we'll get more information regarding the ring and the gems and their acquisition methods once 11.07 and the ring becomes available for testing. But on this isle, you also will be able to get a bunch of new collectibles and items from new and unused recolors of mount models that can now be unlocked from some of the enemies and rares and treasures found on the island. But also you'll get a new currency that allows you to purchase transmog, pets, toys, and even catch-up gear traded in by collecting flame-blessed iron from the isle to unlock all of these items. And one of the things that I wanted to drive home during this sneak preview for the Isle is that it's filled with secrets, like secret rares, secret treasures. So it'll be interesting to see what type of secrets players will be able to uncover once we finally get our feet on the ground. Besides this, patch 11.07 has a bunch of new other announcements planned for its content cycle, like Plunderstorm and making a return in the early 2025, which I think gives us an idea of when this event is going to be made available. Technically, we do have an end date for the patch 11.05 with its 20th anniversary update planned for January 2025, so I'm assuming 14th, maybe 21st is when 11.07 will likely be arriving, or maybe even potentially exactly on the 7th, who really knows. We will have more info as time goes on, really. But this thing is coming out fairly soon, and with the return of Plunderstorm in early 2025, Plunderstorm was kind of basically a classless game mode for WoW's version of a battle royale, which was actually very much loved by the community, where you get to drop in a variety of different locations to slay rares, loot treasures, collect plunder, and an assortment of different abilities that all function a little bit differently than class abilities. Instead of being a tab target version of WoW's combat, you have a lot of frontal sweeping abilities, AoE, radial abilities, and even some skill shots along the way. It was overall a lot of fun, and it played very differently, and a lot of players, even if they don't normally PvP, found themselves actually having a lot of fun PvPing in Plunderstorm specifically. Now, another big part of Plunderstorm is the variety of different rewards you'll be able to earn. As previously it had its own renown track, and you collected renown by earning plunder within each match of Plunderstorm, with many players developing a variety of strategies from PvE focus and PvP focus in order to be able to earn as much plunder as quickly as possible. So I'm very excited to see it return, and I wonder what type of other different types of rewards they're going to have this time around in Plunderstorm. Besides this, 11.07 is also going to explore the fate of the Curing Tor, and if you look around Dornogal, you'll actually see them kind of still moseying around all of the Dalaran survivors. They're all kind of just stuck in the Isle of Dorn. So there's going to be a whole new questline in order to find out what is going to be their fate and how the Curing Tor can move forward with a new Dalaran epilogue questline. We'll also get some story questlines for the prologue for the 11.1 campaign that helps set up the next content update, and apparently we'll also be able to uncover a familiar face within the darkness during the story prologue. Turbulent Timeways also makes a return, which basically is like time walking on steroids, where every week becomes a time walking week, but all of these time walking rewards are juiced up to an 11, where players will be able to collect upgraded versions of gear and items from this time walking weeks, and can even collect a lot of hero track rewards as well. So it's like the big catch-up update to be able to get as much gear as humanly possible. Mastering the Timeways, which basically means participating during all of the time walking weeks during the event, will also help you unlock a timely Busby skywriting mount. So if you're a big mount collector, this will be another opportunity to get one more added to your collections. And if it's anything like Dragonflight's Turbulent Timeways, it's basically just an insane time for catching up new characters, but also leveling new ones. So if you think leveling right now during 11.05 is quick, Turbulent Timeways usually gives you insanely big EXP buffs during the event that continue to stack over the next few weeks. So it's going to make for a fantastic opportunity to come back to the game if you're excited for 11.1. And lastly, we also have some more character customization updates as of 11.07, with Arathi ear customizations coming to humans and Kultirans. So basically, the Arathi get to join back in with the Alliance in a more official way. It's just a slight little customization just for humans and Kultirans, just an ear, so it's not something that's like super really visible, but I think it is a nice touch since we finally get to technically have Arathi properly joining the faction of the Alliance as kind of like a playable option without their own specific new racial or anything like that. I was hoping that the Arathi, Kultirans, and humans would maybe get some new voice lines when they have that ear customization, like something that matches their Arathi lineage or Arathi background, but at the very least it just adds more character customization, which I think for most is just a welcome addition. But with that being said, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this video, and hope you guys did enjoy this update. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. I would very much appreciate it. Join our Discord community to keep up to track with all of the new 11.07 updates, which we'll likely keep posting over there as well and talking about it as weeks go on. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.